New at 11, Norfolk City Council met this evening for a scheduled work session, giving council members the chance to voice their opinions over the recent officer-involved shootings. The topic of gun violence was already on the agenda. 10 on your side's Liz Palka joins us now. And Liz, that issue got pushed back until the next meeting?
Yeah, that's right, Nicole. Police Chief Michael Goldsmith had a presentation ready to go. He was scheduled to talk about gun violence in Norfolk for a couple months now. City Council simply ran out of time at their work session. As they went around the room in the beginning, the topics of officer-involved shootings and mental health were a priority, though.
Both the incidents went horribly wrong.
Norfolk City Councilman Paul Riddick spoke for more than 10 minutes during the council interests. His concern, the two most recent officer-involved shootings in Norfolk.
I believe that something else could have been done.
In both cases, the men who were shot and killed were mentally ill. One shooting was last Wednesday. A 72-year-old man with a mental illness died. Police say he threatened the officer with a knife. 2 days later, a similar story. A family calls 911 for help with 35-year-old David Latham, who also suffered from a mental illness. Police say Latham threatened the officer with a knife. Latham was shot. Riddick brought up a question 10 on your side asked Chief Michael Goldsmith at a news conference on Monday. How many times was Latham shot? The family says it was several times.
The chief said he didn't have that information. Now that's hard for me to believe because the number of murder scenes that I've been a part of when I used to move bodies for the medical examiner's office, and the number of bodies that I've received from the medical examiner's office with gunshot victims. And that information is readily available.
Mayor Paul Frame responded, saying city leaders and law enforcement must learn from each of these incidents and do better in the future.
It's always a dynamic situation. No one goes out there with the intention of doing harm to another. I believe we have an excellent police force. I believe it's well led.
Frame told the room police officers do need more training, but he said there's an even bigger problem.
The problem is we have a broken mental health system in this Commonwealth and really across this country.
Which is why multiple council members brought up funding for officers to go through special training related to mental health.
There was money set aside in this budget for crisis intervention training.
Councilman Andy Protegiro asked the funding get pushed through so that training can happen.
Getting the officers the help they need, the equipment they need.
Protegiro brought up another point during the meeting. There needs to be absolute transparency in order for there to be improvement. He's talking about transparency so officers can be trained and so City Council can make the right policy decisions. He gave an example from David Latham's death, saying the city needs to take a look at the calls that came into 911 dispatchers and how everyone communicated with each other. I'm Liz Palka, 10 on your side.
Chief Goldsmith will still give his presentation on gun violence in the city. That will happen now at the next City Council meeting on June 24th.